It meant nothing. She sobbed, hiding her phone. He's just a friend. I saw the selfies. The proof of her other life. I didn't argue. I just packed a bag and left. Now, 16 years later, she's begging for my help. The shock on her face was priceless. It's hard to explain what 26 years feels like when it's with one person. For me, it wasn't even a number. It was just life. I met my wife in college. We were kids, paired up by friends to go into town. And I just never stopped wanting to be around her. My mom raised me to treat women right. And with her, it was easy. She was my first girlfriend. The first woman I ever loved. And I treated her like she was my wife, long before she actually was. On our wedding night, we were both virgins. Nervous and excited. A few weeks later, when we were making love, she had her first climax. The look on her face, she said she had no idea it could be like that. 4 years. That was us. A smile across the room. A wink. And we'd be in the bedroom. Twice a day. Most days. We were that couple. We thought everyone was like that. We weren't me and her. We were us. Everything was we. We saved. We bought a house. We had 2 beautiful daughters. I never once imagined a future that wasn't built around that simple, perfect fact. But things change so slowly you don't even notice. The last few years. The girls were grown. Her career as a medical service provider was taking off. And I was feeling the pressure at work. Trying to keep up with guys half my age. Her mom was getting sick. And that shook her up. We started arguing more. Little, stupid fights that would blow over so fast I couldn't remember what they were about the next day. Our sex life slowed down, too. It became a weekend thing. Mostly. I told myself it was normal. It's what happens after 26 years. Then came this one weekday afternoon. I thought I'd try to bring back some of that old spark. Surprise her with a little romance. She agreed. But the way she said yes felt compliant. Like she was doing it for me? Not with me. Something felt off. But I pushed the thought away. I just wanted my wife. But when we got to the bedroom, as we started to undress, I saw it. Her body already had those telltale physical signs of arousal. The way it always did deep in the middle of us being together. But we hadn't even started. My mind just froze. I went through with it. Trying to force myself to believe I'd imagined it. But the image was burned into my head. 4 days. It was all I could think about. Was I going crazy? Was I looking for problems that weren't there? We never had passwords on our phones or laptops. We had nothing to hide. The idea of looking felt like a violation of everything we were. But the idea of not looking, of living with this splinter of doubt in my mind, felt like a different kind of poison. I had to know. I didn't want to. But I had to. A few nights later, I found myself sitting in front of her laptop. My hand was shaking as I opened her email. My heart was pounding. Then I saw it. A chain of messages with a man's name I didn't recognize. I clicked on the most recent one. The words jumped off the screen and straight into my chest. Being with you was great. The orgasms were great. You were great. It wasn't like a punch. It was like the air had been sucked out of the universe. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. My heart wasn't in my chest anymore. It was a hot, frantic pulse beating in my throat. I just stared at the screen, reading the words over and over and over, as the life I knew dissolved into nothing. I feel like I'm right back in that moment writing this. Guys, how do you even begin to process something like that? When the person who is your whole world suddenly becomes a stranger. After reading that email, I don't remember deciding to leave. I just found myself in my car, driving to a nearby park. I walked for what felt like miles. But my lungs wouldn't work. I kept trying to take a deep breath. But it was like hitting a wall halfway down. When I finally got home, I told her I was sick and went to bed. I couldn't look at her. The next day, I called in sick for real and just lay there, facing the wall, ignoring her completely. I couldn't keep it in. By Friday night, the silence was eating me alive. I waited until we were both in the living room, opened her laptop, and turned the screen towards her. I didn't say a word. She stared at the emails for a long time, her face just blank. Then the first tear fell. Then another. I clicked to the next message. And the next. And she just started sobbing. Whispering. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Over and over. We were both crying then. This horrible, Shared sound in a quiet house. My mind raced. This was an email. How else were they talking? Let me see your phone, I said. It wasn't a request. For the first time in 26 years of marriage. She looked me in the eye and said, no. That one word hit me harder than the emails. The emails were about a secret act. The phone was a secret world she was actively protecting from me. Right in that moment. I didn't push. Instead, I just said, then you have to tell me everything. And she did. That night bled into the next. And the night after that. We talked for hours. Cried for hours. And then just lay in bed. Staring at the ceiling. A week later. She finally showed me the phone. The selfies were the worst part. Seeing them together. Smiling. Hugging it made it real in a way the words never could. This wasn't just a mistake. It was a relationship. An entire life she had been living alongside ours. My stomach turned over with every picture I swiped past. For 90 days. Our life was a loop of misery. We'd talk until we were exhausted. Try to figure out what to do. And then cry ourselves to sleep. Then, one day, the crying just stopped. We stopped. We started moving around each other like ghosts. Avoiding eye contact. The silence louder than any argument would ever had. We tried counseling a few times. But it felt useless. I told her the truth. I can't look at you the same way. I don't feel like we're married anymore. With our daughters in college, we decided a divorce was the cleanest path. No lawyers. No fighting. We just wanted it to be fair. So every night, we sat at the same kitchen table where Wed helped the kids with their homework and planned our family vacations. And we filled out divorce paperwork together. We divided up our life. Piece by painful piece. When we went before the judge, he seemed confused to see us sitting next to each other. Talking quietly. After it was done, we drove home in the same car. She packed her bags for the apartment Wed agreed on. And then she was gone. The door closed. And I was alone. My life, the one I'd spent 26 years building, was officially over. Has anyone else been through that? That surreal process of dismantling your own life with the person you still love. It feels like you're performing surgery on yourself with no anesthesia. After the divorce, I was just a shell. The silence in that house was a physical weight. I wasn't us anymore. I was just I. There were no weekend plans. Nothing to look forward to. After a couple of years of that emptiness, I decided I was tired of being tired. I went online. Not looking for love. Just for someone to talk to. That's how I met my wife. She lived halfway around the world. But we clicked. We started video chatting twice a day. Every day. Working around the 12-hour time difference. After a year of seeing her face on a screen. Of learning what a kind and family-oriented person she was. I knew I was falling in love. We arranged for her to visit. And when she stepped off that plane, she was even more lovely than I'd imagined. A few days into her visit, she was already asking what we needed to do to get married. I had planned on proposing if things felt right. But her gentle eagerness pushed me to make a decision. I proposed the next day. The joy on her face was blinding. It was contagious. I felt happy because she was so happy. We've been married now for 13 years. And this is the real reason I'm writing all this down. I am a damaged man. The ghost of my first marriage is in every room of my house. I see my wife laughing on the phone with a male coworker. And my stomach clenches. I see her focused on her laptop. And my mind instantly flashes back to that night. Reading those emails. I know. Logically. I know. That she is a completely faithful, loving woman. I have zero reason to be suspicious. But the paranoia is always there. A low hum of anxiety under the surface. I can't stop the thought. How long until she gets tired of this and leaves me? 2. What's worse is the thing I can barely admit to myself. After all these years. After not seeing or speaking to my first wife in over 16 years. I still love her. That's not fair to the incredible woman who sleeps next to me every night. I look at my beautiful, loving wife. Who loves me so dearly. And I know my heart doesn't fully belong to her. Not in the way it should. Not in the way it used to belong to someone else. My wife has been away for 3 weeks. Visiting her parents. She comes home tomorrow night. And in the quiet of this house, something finally clicked. I miss her. Damn it. I really, truly love this woman. I've been writing this all out. trying to make sense of it. And I realize the problem isn't the past. The problem is me. Right now. So, I've made a decision. When she walks through that door tomorrow, she's gonna be met by a new man. I'm making her favorite dinner. I'm setting up her romantic bath with the perfume and candles she loves. I'm going to look her in the eye and tell her how much I love her and how badly I missed her. I'm going to make her smile, that incredible smile of hers. I've spent the last 16 years as a ghost. It's time to come back to life. I used to pray, "Dear God, please bring my beautiful beloved wife back home to me." But tonight, my prayer is different. It's, "Dear God, please bring me back to my beloved wife." So, Reddit, here's my question. I have a plan. I have the will to change. But is that enough? Can a man who's been this broken for this long really fix himself for the woman who deserves a whole husband?